1973 was this guy's year. Not only did he fight off the Reds, especially Pete Rose, in the 1973 NLCS and won, the Mets made it to the final against the A's, and the famous home plate non-tag against him that Willie Mays begged at the plate to make the correct call led to them almost winning the World Series. He won Game 2. That was the longest game and the most memorable game of my youth because I watched that from start to finish. My mother was screaming in my ear for like 4 hours to go outside, and I basically told Mom, I said, "This is the biggest game of the year. I'm not going outside for you or anybody else." And Bud Harrelson passed away this week after a long battle with Alzheimer's disease. But he leaves a legacy, tough as nails. And if you think of the New York Mets, you think of Tom Seaver, you think of Bud Harrelson, and there's a reason why, like of that era. Now, Daryl McKinley Bud Harrelson, born June 6, 1944, nicknamed Bud by his brother, was born in Niles, California. He was played mostly shortstop, a light-hitting shortstop. He only hit 8 career home runs, and he was also a coach and manager. He played for the Mets, Phillies, and Rangers from 65 to 80. After his retirement, he served as coach for the world champion 86 Mets and as manager of the Mets in 90 and 91. He was a coach and part owner of the Long Island Ducks of the Atlantic League of Professional Baseball, and of course, he unfortunately passed away January 11th from that dreaded disease. Inducted into the New York Mets Hall of Fame in 86, he was the only person to take part in both of the Mets World Series titles in 69 and 86 and appear in the first 3 World Series for the squad. He won in 69 and again was the starter for the 73 Mets that took the A's to 7 games. And he's the only person in Mets franchise history to have appeared in 4 playoff seasons, that being a player in 69-73 and a coach in 86 and 88. Now, born on D-Day, June 6, 44, his nickname Bud came from his younger brother who had trouble saying his name and instead called him Brother, which was shortened to Bud. Harrelson grew up in Hayward, California, where he attended Sunset High School, graduated in 62. He enrolled at San Francisco State University and after 1 year signed with the Mets as an amateur free agent in 63. Now, when the Mets promoted Harrelson to the major leagues on September 1st, 65, he made his debut with the Mets the following day. Harrelson anchored the Mets infield for 13 seasons, including their 69 campaign and their 73 pennant winning season. Weighing only 165, Harrelson received the nicknames of Twiggy, Miney Mouse, and Minnie Hawk from his teammates. Typical shortstops of his era, Harrelson was a good fielder but poor hitter. He hit 7 home runs, not 8. He had a lifetime batting average of .236 and hit a total of 7 dingers during his 15-year major league career, but had a lifetime .969 fielding percentage and won a Golden Glove at a position in 71. He was an NL All-Star in 70 and 71. Now, on May 28, 69, after a 5-game losing streak that saw the Mets fall into 4th place in the newly aligned NL East, Jerry Koosman and the San Diego's Clay Kirby engaged in a pitcher's duel at Shea Stadium. After 9 scoreless innings by Kirby and 10 by Koosman, the game was turned over to the bullpens for extra innings. The game finally ended after 11 in the stanzas when Harrelson hit a single to drive in the great Cleon Jones. This began an 11-game winning streak that brought them back into 2nd place, 7 games back of the Chicago Cubs. Before the streak, the Mets' record was 18-23. They went 82-39 over the rest of the season to take the crown. Now, on September 10th, the Mets swept a doubleheader against the Expos. Coupled with a loss by the Cubs, the Mets jumped into first place for the first time in franchise history. On September 24th, the Mets clinched the NL East with a 6-0 victory over Steve Carlton and the Cardinals. The Mets won 38 of their last 50 games and finished the season with 100 wins against 62 losses, 8 games over the second-place Cubs. For his part, Harrelson batted .248 with no home runs, 24 runs batted in, and 42 runs scored. He had a .969 fielding percentage in 119 games at shortstop. Now, Harrelson had only 2 hits in the NLCS against the Braves, but this one of them was a go-ahead triple in the 4th inning of the first game, and an RBI double in Game 2 of the Mets' 3-game sweep. Now, they eventually went on to beat Earl Weaver and the Orioles in the amazing Mets upset. Now, Harrelson's light hitting became the subject of controversy during the 73 NLCS. Mets starter John Matlock held the Reds to 2 hits in his 5-0 complete game victory in Game 2 of the series at Riverfront. Following the game, Harrelson commented he made the Big Red Machine look like me hitting today. Inadvertently providing the Reds with bullpen and aboard material, Harrelson was confronted by Reds second baseman Joe Morgan during pregame warm-ups for Game 3. During this confrontation, he received a warning that 73 batting champion Pete Rose wasn't happy with the quote and was looking for him. In the 5th inning, Morgan hit a double play ball to Mets first baseman John Milner with Rose on first. Whether Rose slid hard into second attempting to break up the double play, or if Harrelson was overly sensitive due to the warning he received, was a matter of debate. Regardless, they both came up punching and a fight between the two erupted, resulting in a bench-clearing brawl live for the international cameras. The game was nearly called off when, after Reds took the field, the Shea Stadium crowd threw objects from the stands at Rose, causing Reds manager Sparky Anderson to pull his team off the field until order was restored. Mets manager Yogi Berra and players Willie Mays, Tom Seaver, Cleon Jones, and Rusty Staub were actually summoned by NL President Chub Fitty out to left field to calm the fans. Now, after the Mets reacquired former number 1 overall pick Tim Foley, Harrelson was traded to Phillies for Fred Andrews and cash on March 23, 78. Rose and Harrelson became teammates with the Phillies, but never discussed the fight. The Phillies released Harrelson before the start of the 80 season. He eventually signed with the Rangers in May after Rusty Staub broke a finger. Now, in 86, Harrelson was inducted in the New York Mets Hall of Fame. Now, after his retirement, Harrelson joined the Mets coaching staff as their first base coach and infield instructor for the 82 season. During the 83 campaign, he substituted for Steve Zabriskie as a broadcaster on 60 Mets games covered by WWOR-TV. He also managed the Little Falls Mets in 84 and was named the New York Penn League's Manager of the Year. He then managed the Columbia Mets of the Southern Atlantic League in 85. When Mets third base coach Bobby Valentine accepted a managerial position with the Rangers partway through 85, Harrelson replaced him on Davey Johnson's coaching staff. Now, when he was a coach with the Mets during the 86 World Series title season, he eventually replaced Johnson following his dismissal as Mets manager 42 games in the 1990 season. He led the Mets to the 7th consecutive winning season, finishing at 91-71. Now, during the 90 campaign, Harrelson hosted his own radio show called The Bud Harrelson's Report in New York on then Mets flagship station WFAN, but ended it prematurely early in the 91 season because Harrelson felt some of Howie Rose's questions he posed to him were too negative. Although the Mets were contenders for most of his first half of the 91 season and were as close as 2.5 games behind the eventual division-winning Pittsburgh Pirates, the team collapsed in the second half and Harrelson was fired with a week remaining in the season and replaced by his third base coach, the former Cub Mike Cubbage. The second season ended with a 74-80 record, and the Mets themselves in total finished at 77-84, 1.5 game behind the 4th place Cubs. In 2000, Harrelson became part owner of the Long Island Ducks, a newly formed independent league baseball team. He managed the Ducks in 2000, their inaugural season, and became a coach for the Ducks' home games in their second campaign. The Ducks eventually retired Harrelson's uniform number 3 in 2018. Now, he married his first wife, Yvonne, on December 17, 65. They later divorced, and Harrelson married Kim Battaglia in 75. Bud's children are Kimberly, Jessica, Timothy, Alexandra, Cassandra, and Troy Joseph. He was eventually inducted in the Suffolk Sports Hall of Fame on Long Island in the baseball category with the class of 92. He was also an actor as he appeared himself in the 99 episode of Everybody Loves Raymond, along with several other members of the 69 Mets. Harrelson, before his passing, resided in East Northport and Hauppauge, New York. Now, diagnosed with Alzheimer's in 2016, he was publicly disclosed his diagnosis in 2018. He unfortunately died at a hospice facility in East Northport, New York, on January 11, 2024, at the young age of 79. So a very, very interesting cat, very, very talented, and very, very determined. And the famous line he used in 73, "I can't be blamed for your incompetence." So that was a mantra for me when I was growing up, because Bud was a very cerebral guy. Like I said, you can't kick me out of the game for being right, and that's And it's like he touched him on the ass, like the famous comment. The video of the 73 playoffs is there. You can check it out for yourself. So, ladies and gentlemen, that's the story of the late, great Bud Harrelson. If you like what we're doing here, give us a like, comment, subscribe, or share. Bye.